Environmental education is a multidisciplinary approach aimed at teaching individuals about the natural environment and promoting sustainable practices. The state of the environment in Uganda is characterized by several challenges, including population growth, reliance on natural resources, and various forms of pollution and resource degradation. According to the United Nations Environment Report, the current environmental conditions highlight issues related to natural resource management and the impacts of climate change. Key areas of concern include deforestation, water quality, and biodiversity loss, which require urgent attention and sustainable management practices to ensure the health of Uganda's ecosystems. In our EcoPlus program, we bring you the Executive Director of National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, Dr. Akankwasa Barirega, to enlighten us more on the state of environment education in Uganda.
When we talk about environment education, we are talking about four main things. The first one is awareness, to create awareness about the need to sustainably manage our environment, the link between our actions and the resulting impacts on the environment. So that's awareness. The second aspect when we talk about environment education is knowledge. You teach people, you give them information on the science and the practice of environment. For example, when we talk about air quality, what do we mean? When we talk about a wetland, what do we mean? That's imparting knowledge. The third aspect of environment education is skills. You don't only end at creating awareness and providing knowledge, but you also give people skills for practical actions. For example, a student should know, if I plant a tree, this is how it is done, this is how I raise it, this is how I make it survive. That's the skills now. And the last aspect is positive attitude to take action. You can have the knowledge, you can have the awareness, you can have the skills, but if you don't have the right attitude to be a change agent in your society, then the knowledge and skills will go to waste. So we need the positive attitude. So generally, environment education means creating awareness, imparting knowledge, putting skills in people, and then causing a positive attitude towards the environment so that people value environment, they mind their actions, because their actions will have impact on the environment, whether positive or negative. So when we talk about environment education, that's what we mean.
In the 30 years of National Environment Management Authority, NEMA, existence as the principal agency of the government responsible for coordinating, monitoring, regulating, and supervising all activities relating to the environment, focus has been on creating knowledge. The education curriculum at all levels has integrated the environment, aiming at creating change in nature.
NEMA has been at the forefront of providing environment education since 1995, when NEMA was first established. You know, we are celebrating 30 years of existence. So for the last 30 years, NEMA has been creating knowledge about environment. We've been working very closely with the Ministry of Education and Sports. We've been working very closely with the National Curriculum Development Center, and I can proudly say that Uganda is among the few countries in the world that have fully 100% achieved integration of environment education in education curricula at all levels: pre-primary, primary education, lower secondary, upper secondary, and higher education. Environment is fully integrated in the entire spectrum of education curricula in Uganda. So that's a very, very big achievement. If you've looked at the homework of your children, you will definitely have seen this. There are questions relating to environment in subjects like science, in subjects like social studies, or call it literacy. So our children grow up when they know what environment is, what the issues in environment are, how they can make a change. We have a program of greening schools. We go to these schools to help them establish eco gardens, to help them plant trees, to help them have labels, don't litter, information panels. Don't litter, behave like this, plant a tree, respect a tree, things like that. So what we need now is to utilize that knowledge. The product from the education system should be able to cause a change in the environment. Because the generation we have now is a generation of young people. 75% of our population is young people. These are the people in schools. These are the people at universities, the Gen Zs at universities and secondary schools. They must not only get this knowledge, skills, and awareness, we must see them put it to use. That's our dream. The reason why we focus on the young generation is that they have a better stake, they have a higher stake in the affairs of the planet than we do. So they are in charge of the planet. And for the case of Uganda, the younger people are definitely in charge, as you know. 75%, they are in charge. We no longer say the leaders of tomorrow, not at all. That's now ancient. They are in charge because 75% decide what to do. They determine the politics, they determine the economy, they determine everything because they are the majority. So we want to see the young generation take environment issues very seriously and take lead in being change agents in the societies where they exist. Why should a young person dump waste anyhow? Why should a young person cross a green space when there is a walkway? Why should a young person throw a kavera? You eat your Rolex because they like enjoying it. After eating Rolex, you just drop the kavera. First of all, why should you even allow to eat the Rolex which is wrapped in a kavera? We should start by rejecting the polythene bag to wrap your Rolex. That should be the starting point. We must leave these things. We shouldn't talk about them in theory. If I go into a supermarket, I cannot accept my things to be wrapped in a polythene bag. At individual level, you have a choice to refuse. And if all of you are refusing, the supermarket will have no reason to buy the kaveras. You will have saved them money also because they don't charge us for these polythene bags. Do you know that? They always give it to us for free. So if you refuse it, another one refuses it, they will also drop the idea. That's what we call behavior change induced by the market dynamics. You kill the demand. And when you kill the demand, the supply will also die.
But what does the law say in regards to environment education in Uganda, and who should be blamed for breaking it?
Of course, the policy and legislation reforms are needed, and we have done quite a lot, as you know. For example, plastic carrier bags below 30 microns are already banned. Above 30 microns are still allowed, but we are in discussion to also phase out all of them, all single use. Anything you use once and throw, and it is plastic, it's not a good idea. So policy reforms to ban this are coming. But a law without appreciation by the people may not work. Because what is a policy? What is a law? By the very definition, a policy is a agreed course of action by that society. Who is the society? It is the people. So if the people themselves have not appreciated and said, we do not want this, even if Parliament legislated 1,000 times, it would not work. Because a law or a policy means minimum standard that a society has agreed to be bound by. So even with a law, you still need information, you still need the knowledge, you still need awareness, so that people appreciate why they are taking that action. For example, the options to replace plastic carrier bags are many. The paper bags are there, fabric bags are there. You can use even reusable plastics that you can use over and over again. Before we were born, our parents did not use plastics. Are you aware? So where did these options go? Before you were born, there was no plastics. Or before your parent was born. The plastics are, in Uganda particularly, are not ancient. It's a recent thing. We used it to drink sodas and water. The sodas would be in glass bottles. Beer would be in glass bottles. So plastic beverage bottling is recent. Plastic carrier bags also are not very old. We used to use reusable plastics, what our parents used to call obusero. You know obusero? They also had things like ebikapu, which were reusable bags, either from leather, from cloth. So it is not true that the options are not there. It's an issue of mindset. It's an issue of choosing convenience over safety and long-term sustainability. People choose Kavera because it is cheap, it is nominal value, I use and throw. That's convenience. But at what cost? You've thrown it now, and your car is going to get stuck in the floods just after a day, and then you will spend a lot of money addressing now your car. So you are just choosing cheap convenience, not knowing that it is actually more expensive later. So it's an issue of mindset, and education and awareness becomes central to changing the mindset. And so the discussion comes timely. I don't believe in blaming, because if we are to blame, we should blame ourselves. Why are we using them in any case? So let's start blaming ourselves. Why are we using them? Because, like I said, laws, policies are a reflection of what society has agreed to be bound to. You cannot expect the government, for example, to do something that the people do not want. Because who is government in any case? Government is the people, it's you and me. So if we said who to blame, we should blame ourselves, all of us. We should blame all of us. But I don't believe in blaming. I believe in looking at the challenges and turning them into opportunity. If we remove Kavera, are there business opportunities for people who can do paper bags? Yes. You will create new jobs for people who will be using paper bags. You will create new jobs for tailors who are going to make fabric bags. You will create new opportunities in the leather industry for leather products like bags. The packaging will also shift from plastic bags or carrier bags to paper bags or to plastics that is reusable. So there is no loss here. You are actually creating new opportunities, new employment opportunities, new streams of revenue and income, new investment opportunities for industrialists. Because those who are importing or making single-use carrier bags, just as an example, can actually create investment opportunities in the new things which will replace plastic. We've had quite many engagements with Uganda Manufacturers Association. They also think the way we do, that single-use plastics is something which should be of the past. For example, in beverage bottling, you've seen now collection of bottles. You've seen trucks carrying empty plastic bottles for recycling. They have even voluntarily created an association called the GASP, which is a voluntary association amongst the beverage producers to collect and recycle all the plastics they put on the market. This is a voluntary exercise before we even bring the law, because we are at the tail end of formulating regulations for extended producer responsibility, which will make it mandatory. But the industry is already moving ahead of regulation, and that's the best way.
Through continued sensitization on environment education, NEMA is happy that now people are more concerned with environment education issues.
Yeah, the gaps, I see them in translating the knowledge, skills, and attitudes into practical action. And this is caused partly by limited practical teaching and education. The curricula is mainstreamed, yes. A child will see in the book photosynthesis, causes of pollution, how to prevent pollution. It's there in the curriculum. But are we investing enough in having the child appreciate that outside the classroom? That's where I think the gap is, theory and practice. I think we still have work to do in enhancing the practical aspect of education, so that what a child studies in class studies it in real life. If we are studying an egg, it shouldn't be on the chalkboard. It should be in a poultry farm. I think we need to do more on that, translating classroom teaching into real life classroom. That's why I think there is a gap. The other gap I would think is mindset. The young people are in a hurry. The Gen Zs are in a hurry. So we need to change the mindset of the Gen Zs to appreciate more the need to live sustainably. They should not be snacky people, you know, just as an example. We want a Gen Z who can go to a farm and milk a cow, a Gen Z who can jump on a tractor or get a hoe and go to a farm. That's how they will better appreciate the practical aspects of environment. I think once we have that, we shall be good to go. If you look at how much energy is on social media, wasted energy. If that energy can be redirected into positive thinking, into sustainable living, for example, you will have society transformation in a very short time. So there is an issue of mindset change and guidance to the Gen Zs to redirect that energy into positive thinking, into transformative change of our society, and then we shall be very good.
With the continued efforts in averting environment degradation, several successes have been recorded, as Dr. Akankwasa explains.
People are now minding about the environment than before. Before, people would say, NEMA. They would say, those are NEMA things. But now people will say, you are not going to backfill this wetland because when floods come, the floods will affect us who are staying in this place. That is now the best thing that has happened to the environment. Everyone is talking about the environment, and everyone is saying we need to protect it, because if we do not do, the impacts will not come to NEMA only or to government only or to no, the impacts will come to society. And so once the society is conscious, environment protection, it will be obvious, environment will be protected. Because we, the citizens, we, the people, are the degraders, and the solution lies with us. Yes, at least every district in Uganda has a district environment officer. Every district. We can talk about enhancing their capacity now, giving them more equipments and more budget to operate, but we have where to start from. To me, that's a great achievement of fully decentralizing environment, and then have NEMA to coordinate and oversee. That's a great achievement. People have started talking about noise now. 10 years ago, who would talk about noise? You don't have food on the table, you don't have medicine in the hospital, you wouldn't talk about noise. But because government has stabilized the economy, the country has been pacified, and economic growth has actually started happening. We've entered the lower middle income status. So people are now looking at the quality of living, the quality of life. That's why issues of noise are now becoming very serious. Society has transformed. We are now taking off really, and environment has not been an exception. Most of the wildlife species have been recovered. In 1986, we had less than 2,000 elephants only left. We are now talking about 8,000. The rhinos had gone extinct. We are now talking about rhinos at Nakasongola. You should go and visit them. There is now a campaign of NEMA rhino. So most of the charismatic species which we had almost lost because of the civil unrest of 1970s, we've recovered all these species. Gorillas have been recovered. They are now leading our tourism. So there is a lot to celebrate, and we are happy to have been a part of this transformative journey of our society. And we can only pray that we protect the gains that we have achieved and continue the transformative process of our country.
Environmental education serves as a powerful catalyst for positive change. By fostering awareness, knowledge, and responsible actions, it empowers individuals to become stewards of our planet.